Alrighty, in the last video, we got all this tack welded into place. We're now going to pull it all back apart, do some final bracing on the chassis and the cab, get everything buttoned up there, and then weld these mounts solid, and then we'll get to bolting everything in. Let's get to it. Sure where that died, but we got all of our braces welded up. That's what we're doing. On the camera guide, it's pretty damn sturdy. Of course, the port's a little weak still. We might try and add a couple short bars. We do need to get this still put in place. Getting the ABS pump here. I think I'm just going to weld a little piece of plate here, and then we'll tuck it. Just hook that on there, so that's got something to sit on. She's pretty stiff there, so shouldn't be too bad. Then we're gonna weld out our sides and maybe try to weld something on the front here as some sort of crash support. What we might end up doing is cutting the original one here. I think if I cut these almost all the way off, you might be able to reuse that. I don't know, I'm on the fence about that. Which way we should go there. And I might wait until after I have a chance to mount the fenders back up again, just to make sure we don't have... This was down in the valence, but I know the valence was touching on both these sides here. So, so I know it's very close, so we might just butt cap these. We're going to run the plastic bumper on the front, and as long as we tie these together with a bar, then that should be close enough. There should be. Now, Just something to keep the frame rails together. But yeah, so we'll cross that bridge here a little bit. Jesus Christ. Also, we need to remount our grounds here. I've marked some spots where we can drill holes for them so we can get them drilled back in. They'll sit there. I need to find the other 2 bolts for the core support here. So I can put that back together. I think they're in the cab or in the trunk. So I'll try to find those so we can get those bolted in. That whole sliding the core support, like leaning the cooling pack back, seems to have worked really well. I don't see any negative issues with that so far. We are probably going to take this coolant tank off, or this windshield washer fluid tank off. Just because it does look weird. But we'll see what we do there. For the moment, it's going to stay in place, but I don't know. We'll see on that front. I don't have wipers at the moment anyway, so I don't really need them, or need that, but I do have the ability to hook it back up because I have the spray nozzles here for the old car. They are still in place, so we can't even get this part functional again. So we can use the washer fluid, and that might be what we end up doing, is just pulling it back up, but then we got to try and find a way to make that look good. So let's find the bolts first for the core support, the other 2 of those. We'll go from there. It is the same bolt. It's just not maybe the exact same one, but that'll work. Those crank in. Cool to be able to use these same mounts. And we could run a bar straight down. Maybe that's what we do. Question is, where is it at? To be fair, I don't even know where Manpack's at. So. I think our 10mm socket would be sitting. Oh, you guys can probably see it on the film. Right, dumbass, it's laying right there. Damn it! I put it in the trunk. Perfect. So I think for our last brace, we can go in front of this actually. We're just going to grind on this and then do an upright that goes into there. Yeah, that should work out pretty well. So besides this thing, we put it back, being a shape. You need some metal to make those plates though. Yeah. Well, that'll be plenty heavy. I don't know if you can hear that. Those are like 1/2 inch plates, so. Create a bar now. Just a round bar. And then we'll just weld it onto that. Then we'll have the mounts to tie the fenders in or whatever else later. You'll see most of that. Be really shitty if you haven't, but hey, you guys been able to see some of it. You guys probably can't hear shit because of that. I saw about that. How's that? Okay. To reiterate, we got this bar welded in, this tube. It'll be the secondary crash support. We're going to have the classic bumper on the front here, so that'll be the primary crash support. If this does get in an accident, we also now going to build braces up to the top here to support this, which will likely be where our hood latch mounts. We also have these ears here that we can mount off of for bumper mounts or fender mounts, depending on what we need. So those would be pretty handy. We can also maybe put a tow point somewhere on this, since this is an off-road vehicle, kind of, sort of. Other than that, we notch this so it fits again. And we got to put the fenders back on after we do the side clip, after we do the boxing in here. That'll be in the next episode. We'll get all this stuff boxed in. I'm thinking maybe just going straight. I'm going to take out in here. Shiny, rusty metal. Yeah, we'll see. We got a few different pieces that we can use to span this. These aren't quite long enough to make it all the way over. So probably do a nice line for that if we cut the top off. It'll fit up nicely to there. We will use these. I'm just not sure what we're going to tie into yet. Just like that. We'll spin the top in, cut it off here, weld that in, and then span it from there to there, and build a plate on this top and call it good. It should be strong enough. We can then remount our fuse box. That'll be, we'll seam sealer all this before we finish. That should get that pretty sealed up, hopefully, because there's holes in the cabin here. Do that on both sides. And then we'll be ready to, oh no, we also have to fasten this down the rest of the way under here, this cowl. So a couple more steps before we can put the fenders on for the last time, but we are close. So it's super exciting after we get the fenders and front clip on. Then we're pretty much done. We'll put the windshield in and the headliner up. And then we'll start working on the little stuff like the rest of the back seat install, door panels, clearancing for the tires that we're going to put on it. So I'm thinking of getting a 1-inch lowering kit for the front end. That way it just tips it down just that little bit. It's not bad right now, but I'm debating on that. We'll see how it looks after we put the tires on it. Yeah. Whew. I appreciate you guys watching. This has been a heck of a video today. Kind of unplanned too. I wasn't sure I was going to have time to get back out here today, but we did a lot of stuff. This whole front end structure is sweet. Besides this one part that we got to fix still. So we'll get that fixed. We got everything kind of re-situated here. We got a built mount for this. I think this is the hood open close sensor, which could be interesting. Don't know exactly how it works, but we'll remount it and hope that it's happy. It might work in conjunction with the hood latch too. I don't know. Remount our grounds, put our battery in, run this wire back on here. After we get the hood latch on, so that way we know exactly how we want to run that. And then we'll start to, yeah, lots to do. I can keep going and going, but also probably try and box these tips in here. So, a lot of little stuff to do, but we're almost done with the last big step, which is getting the front clip mounted. So, appreciate you guys watching. Like, comment, subscribe. That helps out this tiny channel a ton, as this is the first build series that we're doing on here. We already have 2 more projects lined up, and then I've got some other stuff in the pipeline. So a lot of stuff coming up. Shop space is awesome to have, so we'll definitely be taking advantage of this whenever we can. The projects. If anybody's got any ideas on these wipers, let me know, because I do not know what to do with those. For now, we're going to run without them. Just rain X the windshield and call it a day. Yeah, if anybody knows how to make the wipers work with anybody else that's tried this, let me know. Once I gain a little more popularity, maybe I'll be able to reach out to the big guys that actually do this more often than me, and they'll judge this tremendously. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.